Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Dulesky, and I'm an assistant director in the Center for Student Engagement, and we're here to talk to you about budget requests today and how to go about that. And I'll let Kayla introduce herself.
Hey everyone, my name is Kayla McNeil. I'm the treasurer for student government. This is my second year in the position.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit at the beginning about pieces and process, and then we'll jump into the actual specifics of filling out a budget request. But some basic reminders is that any club that's SGA recognized is eligible to request funding for events on campus. The request is made using the finance section of your student organizations page on the involvement network. The budget requests must be submitted 35 days prior to the date of your event, but that's the bare minimum. We always really encourage all student organizations to put in budget requests as soon as you know that you need funding and that you want funding, because often with bigger events, there's more paperwork that needs to be done, contracting, purchase requests, things like that. So 35 days is the latest that you can submit something, 35 days ahead of your event, but we always encourage you to do it much earlier than that. The other piece of that is that before you can put in a budget request, you do need to have submitted a space reservation for your event and that you have a tentative confirmation from University Events before actually putting a budget request in. That just lets SGA know that you have secured space, that this event is already in the process of being planned, so that giving funding to it is like something that's actually like ready to start being planned. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen at this point and jump into the actual filling out of the requests. So when you log on to the involvement network and go into your organization's page, you should see this manage organization. You will click on that. I know that from a lot of the other training videos, you've probably already gotten very familiar with this. And then you would click on the 3 lines, or the pancakes as we like to refer to them, and it will pop out this options drawer. And you're going to click on finance. Once you're here, you can see, past requests that you've submitted for purchases or funding, but you're going to move over to create request. You may have nothing in this section because you may not have requested funding before, but you'll click on create request and then create budget request. This will bring you to your options of what you have available to ask for funding. Most clubs will just have this event funding button, so you will click on that. And then you're going to start filling out the actual budget request itself. So you're going to title the budget request with the name of your event and the date of the event. This is also where we would love for you to share a description about what your event's going to be like, explaining, what types of things are going to go on at the event. What, are you having performers? Are there different games that you're playing? What are the components of your event? That all can be shared here. This helps SGA know a little bit more about what your plans are and what you're hoping to do with the money that they allocate to your organization. You would then click next, and sorry about that. You're going to share a little bit more about your event here. So you're going to put in the name of the event. Again, we understand that the name of your event might change, but please put in whatever you've got so far. You're going to put the date of your event in, the starting time, how long your event is going to be, and how many people you think are going to attend. Especially if this is a reoccurring event and you've held it in the past, you should have kind of an idea of how many people you think will end up coming to your event. Then you're going to pick the space that you've reserved, so we know which room you're in and what room you're hosting in. And then on your tentative confirmation from University Events, you will have a reservation number, and it's important for you to share that here because it helps us connect all the dots for your event later. You also should select, what type of an event is this? Is it a cultural event, a professional event, social, If it's something different, feel free to share that here. You can also select multiple. And then we're curious about how often you hold this event. So is this something that you hold monthly? Is this an annual event that you've done for many years? That type of thing. So please select the answer that makes the most sense for your event. Once you hit next, sorry about that. You'll be brought to this page with contact information. So if you are the treasurer putting in your budget request, but you're not necessarily the person that's coordinating the event, you want to share the information about the student on your executive board or in your membership that is responsible for planning this event. And so you would put their information, their email, and then what their position is in your organization. That's helpful because while we know treasurers know a lot about what's going on, you may not have all of the details about what's going on with the event, and we want to know who the best person is to contact with questions. Once you put that in, it's going to ask you for some information about your marketing plan. So how are you marketing this to campus? What types of platforms are you using? And then just a little bit of an explanation about that. The reason that we ask for this is because any event funded by SGA allocations needs to be open to the entire campus. So we want to make sure that the word is getting out there and all students know about this event. And so we're just curious on how you plan to do that for this event. So you would click next there and you will be brought to the actual budgeting piece of this request. So this is the part where you will put in the dollar amounts of the things that you need for your event. And so you want to make sure that you put them under the right section. So there's different budget sections for you to add items to. The first one being food. We know food is a really important part of events on campus. So you want to share what types of things you're going to order in this section. We do have this separated out into 3 different sections because the menus are different and the pricing is different depending on what you use through Cater Tracks. So there's a section for pickup. So if you're using the student menu or the elements menu, you would submit those items here. If you're using the flavors menu, or in essence, you're having the food delivered to your event, you would use this section. And then if you're getting food from off campus, you would use this external catering section. The other piece is performance or agency fees. So if you're contracting with a performer or a comedian or anyone that you need to provide an invoice for, you would fill this section out. DJs are a little bit different because there's a limitation on how much you can spend on a DJ. So DJs are in their own section and you would add them here. For example, I've added Doug Wallow as a DJ fee of $400, and I've shared, his stage name, but also his legal name. The legal name for any performer is really important because that's what goes on their tax information, and that's really important paperwork that has to get filed with our office or with the Center for Student Engagement. So you want to make sure that you include a legal name and a stage name if they have one. It's also required that you upload any contract or invoice that the performer has provided to you and save it to this section here. The other sections are, novelty vendors. So if you're bringing something like a photo booth, that would go in here. That's an example of that. Different things like photographers or makeup artists, hairstylists, if that's something you need for your event, that would go under event support vendors. Logistics, so if you're renting lights or any additional equipment, that would go under here. Event t-shirts, marketing supplies. Events and marketing supplies, this is where a lot of different sections are, a lot of different things that you might need. So you would click on add item, and then you want to look at the category field. There's a section for decorations, craft supplies, miscellaneous, if you're printing posters for this event, or just other marketing. You want to make sure you're clicking on the right category and then providing a description about what you're doing. So for example, if this is a birthday party, so I'm getting party hats, and they come in packs of 6. So I'm going to buy 2 and they cost $3 a pack. And then I would hit save. And I would do that for every item of supplies that I plan to add to the request. Once you're done submitting all of the different items that you need money for this budget request, it will total up at the top for you. So you'll be able to kind of do an overview of everything you've requested. You'll see the totals sectioned out based on category, and then you're able to hit submit at the bottom. Once you've hit submit, I'm going to let Kayla talk about the next steps in that process.
Okay, so once you submit the report or the budget request, it first gets sent to your CSE advisor for review to make sure everything looks okay, like the reservation number and everything. Then once it gets approved by your CSE advisor, it gets sent to me, the treasurer, and then during finance board meeting, we will go over the request, we'll review it to make sure everything looks okay, it follows our guidelines in every way. And then if it needs to be sent to Senate for review, it'll get sent to the next Senate meeting. And then during that meeting, Senate will vote on it. And then once it's voted on, you will be approved and then you can access your funds. Most requests don't require it to be sent to Senate, but when it does, that's what happens. But if it doesn't, then we either approve or deny it, or we send it back with questions or anything like that.
The other part of that is that once Senate votes on it, it is sent over to the accountant in the Center for Student Engagement, Lori, and she will move the funding so that it will appear in your account on the Involvement Network, and you'll be able to view that so that you can start placing purchase requests or submitting contract requests, anything like that. So you'll be able to visually see that in your finance section on the Involvement Network. Throughout the process, you'll also be able to see where your budget request is. So it'll move from stage to stage. So it'll show you once you submit it that it's with your CSE advisor. Once your CSE advisor approves it, it'll show that it's with the SGA treasurer, and then finance board, and then Senate. So Kayla, as she moves it through the process, it will show up in a different stage on your finance page. So if you're ever curious about where it's at, you would be able to check that on the Involvement Network. Other than that, I think that's the basics of a budget request. If you ever have any questions about how to put in a budget request, where your budget request is in the process, you can certainly always email Kayla. Or you can reach out to your CSE advisor and we can help you find that information out as well. Anything else to add?
I think that's it. But if you guys really do have any questions, I'm always happy to help, and I'm pretty responsive with the emails. So
it's also important for us to share right now that we are reviewing a lot of survey feedback that other club and organization leaders sent in to SGA over the summer. And so we might be making some changes to the process to make it better for all of you. So please be on the lookout for updates and changes that will be communicated through the BSU involved email or directly from Kayla herself. Other than that, good luck with the rest of training and let us know if you need any help.